So imagine being tasked with mapping out, writing, and entirely structuring a 95-page enterprise website.
Right, like the whole thing from scratch.
Yeah, exactly. The complete digital architecture. We're talking dedicated service pages, uh, all the SEO metadata, complex internal linking, the strategic FAQs, all of it.
Which is, I mean, let's be honest, that's a massive headache in a traditional corporate environment.
Oh, absolutely. You're looking at a multi-week, maybe even a multi-month endeavor, right? Just totally bogged down by, endless revision cycles and administrative gridlock.
Yeah, the back and forth emails alone would take weeks.
Exactly. But now I want you to imagine just clicking a button, stepping away for, I don't know, a slightly long lunch, and returning to find the entire project finished and ready for a final review.
It sounds kind of ridiculous when you say it out loud.
Right. But you check the dashboard and the elapsed time reads exactly 3 hours and 58 minutes.
Yeah. And to most professionals, especially those working within legacy systems right now, that just sounds like science fiction.
Oh, for sure.
But that is actually the recorded metric from a recent stress test we've been looking at. A test on the capabilities of multi-agent AI systems handled by Cocobites Solutions. And, it forces a very uncomfortable, but honestly necessary conversation about the reality of modern work.
Which I think brings us right to the elephant in the room here. Are you, or perhaps the leadership team at your company, kept awake at night by this fear of AI taking over professional roles?
It's a hugely pervasive anxiety right now. I mean, everywhere you look.
It really is. You look around the corporate world and there is this looming dread that an algorithm is going to just instantly render decades of hard-earned professional experience completely obsolete.
Yeah.
So for today's deep dive, we are digging into this world of Cocobites solutions. Our sources today tackle this concept known as agentic orchestration.
Right.
And really, the whole mission of our deep dive today is to prove why that anxiety, that fear about job replacement, is actually misplaced.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because the distinction between AI as a fear-inducing replacement and AI as a tool is massive. But actually, it's more than a tool.
Wait, okay, unpack that a bit more.
Well, the fear makes sense on the surface, right? When a professional sees a machine generate a strategic report
Yeah.
or write a complex block of code in literally seconds, the natural human response is defensive.
Yeah, you start doing the math on your own replaceability.
Exactly. But the root of this fear is this sort of isolationist view. People are looking at AI as a standalone tool that just, swaps out a human worker for a digital one.
Right, like exchanging a hammer for a nail gun?
Yes, but the paradigm shift we're exploring today is moving from viewing AI as that single tool to treating AI as an integrated system.
Ah, okay. Because the distinction between AI as a tool and AI as a system really seems to be the difference between feeling threatened and feeling empowered.
Exactly. The sources emphasize that if you have, say, 23 plus years of foundational industry experience,
Which is a lot of hard-earned knowledge.
right, that knowledge does not suddenly become useless just because a large language model can spit out text quickly. In fact, that deep domain expertise is literally the only thing that makes these massive automated systems function correctly in the real world.
Okay, so to understand why, we have to look at what AI is actually replacing here.
Right, and it isn't replacing this seasoned strategist.
Yeah, it's replacing the legacy timelines that we've all just kind of blindly accepted for decades.
Exactly. I mean, we are so accustomed to complex projects taking months, primarily because of the sheer administrative friction.
Right, the data entry, the formatting.
Yeah, all those back and forth emails. We've mistakenly equated the timeline of the work with the actual value of the work itself.
Yeah, I'm trying to visualize this shift in a daily workflow context. It's kind of like we've been struggling to play a single violin flawlessly our entire careers.
Okay, I like that.
Right. We spend all our energy on the physical mechanics of just drawing the bow across the strings, trying to produce one note at a time. And then suddenly we're handed the baton to conduct an entire symphony orchestra.
That is a brilliant analogy.
The AI is out there, playing the dozens of different instruments, simultaneously handling the formatting, the coding, the drafting.
Right.
But it still desperately needs the conductor's experience to know what the music should actually sound like. The conductor isn't obsolete at all. Their capability has just been multiplied.
Yeah, and the underlying mechanism there is alignment. Because a violin playing by itself at, 10 times the normal speed, that isn't the symphony.
No, it's just chaotic noise.
Exactly. Without the conductor's overarching vision, like the timing, the dynamics, the emotional resonance, the output completely lacks purpose.
Which in the business world means what exactly?
Well, in business, that noise takes the form of unaligned strategy, off-brand messaging, and just massive tactical errors.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So agentic orchestration means you are managing multiple AI agents working in tandem. Like one agent drafts, another reviews, a third formats,
Right, right.
but they are entirely reliant on your foundational industry experience to guide their interactions. You essentially stop executing every single micro task and you start directing the overarching system.
Okay, so if we are the conductors in this scenario, then we really need to see what it actually looks like when this orchestra plays at maximum speed.
Let's do it. Let's look closer at that case study from Cocobites Solutions.
Yeah, the one where they set up that autonomous multi-agent workflow, using custom AI prompting across multiple chatbots to build that fully structured 95-page website from scratch.
Exactly. And just to reiterate, the total elapsed time was under 4 hours. 3 hours and 58 minutes.
Which is just wild.
The contrast with a legacy agency environment is staggering, honestly.
Mm.
Think about the traditional process for a project of that massive magnitude.
Oh, yeah. You'd have the initial kickoff meetings, then the wireframing,
You'd have entirely separate teams for copywriting and SEO.
and the alignment calls, just endless alignment calls to ensure the tone is consistent across all 95 pages.
Exactly. The administrative overhead alone usually accounts for more than half the project's timeline.
Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting, because I have to play devil's advocate for you listening.
Go for it.
Because if I hear that a massive, intricate website was built in a single afternoon, my immediate assumption is that the output has to be total garbage.
Right, right.
I mean, isn't a multi-agent system moving that fast, just kind of scraping the web and pasting together 95 pages of generic, low-quality filler text? Just, robotic-sounding paragraphs to hit a required page count.
And honestly, any seasoned professional should ask that exact question. Because speed without substance is completely useless.
Exactly.
But the architectural depth highlighted in the source material is what makes this specific stress test so significant. It wasn't just generating walls of filler text.
So what were they actually building?
The AI agents were orchestrated to build a fully mapped digital architecture. Every single page was structured with highly specific elements.
Like what?
We're talking dedicated service pages detailing specific offerings, robust SEO metadata attached to every single asset, strategically generated FAQs, and an intricate internal linking structure that connected the whole digital ecosystem logically.
Okay, and reading through the sources, it seems like they weren't just building this architecture for traditional web crawlers either, like not just for the Google bots of the 2010s.
No, not at all.
They engineered these content blocks specifically for next-generation search behaviors.
Yeah, and what's fascinating here is the massive shift happening right now in the mechanics of search itself and how this specific multi-agent setup actually anticipated that exact shift.
Right.
We're moving so rapidly away from traditional SEO, search engine optimization, into AEO, which stands for AI Engine Optimization, and GEO, Generative Engine Optimization.
Wait, I want to make sure we really understand the mechanics of AEO and GEO, because traditional SEO, as most of us know it, was essentially just a game of keyword density and backlinks, right?
Yeah, exactly. Just trying to get a crawler to rank you higher on a list of blue links.
But this new conversational search is entirely different. People aren't really typing fragmented keywords into a search bar anymore.
No, they aren't typing best corporate lawyer.
Right. They are opening up an AI assistant and asking a complex, multi-layered question like, what are the legal steps for a mid-sized tech company to restructure in this specific region, and who are the top-rated local firms that actually handle this?
Yeah, and the difference in how a machine processes those two specific queries is profound. When a user asks a generative AI engine a really complex question, the AI isn't looking for a page stuffed with the word lawyer.
So what is it looking for then?
It is looking for structured data. It needs to parse, validate, and cite factual information to generate a direct synthesized answer.
Oh.
So if your website is just a wall of generic marketing text, the AI engine will honestly simply ignore it because it can't quickly verify the semantic relationships between all the concepts.
Wow. So AEO involves basically structuring your content into clear, factual hierarchies.
Exactly. It means using specific schema markups, semantic clustering, and direct question and answer nodes.
Right, so the language model instantly recognizes your site as a structured source of truth.
Yes.
So the agents in that Cocobites solutions test were actually formatting the 95 pages specifically so an AI could easily read and cite them later.
Correct. And then GEO Generative Engine Optimization adds a whole other layer right on top of that.
Right, how does GEO fit in?
GEO integrates local and regional targeting directly into that structured data.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so when that generative engine is looking for the best local solution to a user's highly specific query, it desperately needs geographic validation.
So by orchestrating the agents to embed local targeting natively into those AEO structures?
The resulting content becomes highly visible to modern AI search tools.
Yeah.
And building that level of intricate, dual-layered architecture manually across 95 pages, that takes weeks of meticulous formatting.
But the multi-agent system did it in under 4 hours?
Exactly. Under 4 hours.
Man, it is genuinely incredible when you break down the sheer density of the technical work being executed there. But, speed and complex architecture sound great in theory.
There's a but coming.
Well, yeah. The reality of working with large language models is that they are notoriously prone to hallucinating.
Oh,
They're
adults.
essentially advanced next word predictors, right?
Mm.
So if they guess wrong, they can just go off the rails instantly.
That happens a lot.
So if you have a multi-agent workflow where bots are essentially talking to other bots at lightning speed, how do you prevent that system from instantly devolving into total chaos?
That's the million-dollar question. And the underlying truth of working with large language models is that without a strict, validated requirements framework, the output will inevitably degrade.
Hmm.
If you feed an AI a vague, open-ended instruction, even just a slightly ambiguous one, the probabilistic spread is simply too wide.
It has too many options for what the next word or concept should be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It will guess what you want, and over the course of 95 pages, those slight miscalculations just compound until the entire project falls apart.
It's the classic garbage in, garbage out principle.
Exactly.
But magnified by 1,000, right. Because of the speed at which the agents are executing and sharing data with one another.
Yeah, exactly.
If one agent hallucinates a fake fact, the next agent incorporates that hallucination into the metadata, and suddenly the whole architecture is compromised.
A total cascade failure.
So I have to assume they are using some kind of rigid coding or like locked frameworks before the AI even touches the generation phase.
Yes, the solution they utilize is this concept of reusable master templates.
Master templates. Okay.
Right. So before a single word of content is ever generated by the AI, the human strategist steps in. The strategist meticulously designs a master template, which basically serves as an absolute, unyielding architectural blueprint.
Okay, so what does that blueprint actually look like?
It dictates the exact parameters, the structural requirements, the semantic core, the tone of voice, the required metadata fields, all those AEO schema requirements we talked about.
Wow, okay.
The human sets these rigid guardrails. They are actively constraining the probability space for the AI. And once those guardrails are locked in tightly, the AI agents can then execute within that strictly defined framework with flawless consistency.
Okay, so to connect the dots for you listening, it's kind of like building a high-speed bullet train.
Oh, I like where this is going.
Right. The AI multi-agent workflow is this incredible state-of-the-art engine providing massive speed and power. But the human strategist has to lay down the tracks, the master templates.
Yes, exactly.
Because no matter how fast or powerful that engine is, if there are no tracks to guide its direction, that train is going to derail and crash the very moment it leaves the station.
100%.
The tracks are what make the speed useful instead of destructive.
And this is exactly where that domain expertise we discussed earlier becomes the single point of leverage. The seasoned professional doesn't spend their time manually typing out meta descriptions or formatting HTML headers anymore.
Right. That's not where their value is.
No. Their highly valuable time is spent architecting the prompt logic, designing the tracks, and validating the business outcomes.
So the human provides the strategic wisdom and the systemic guardrails, and the machine provides the execution velocity.
Exactly. If you rely purely on the machine to provide the wisdom, you get chaos and hallucinations.
Right, and if you rely purely on the human to provide the velocity, you get employee burnout and those months-long legacy timelines.
Exactly. Agentic orchestration marries the two perfectly. And furthermore, the true scalability comes after that initial project.
How
Well, once you have a master template that has been validated and proven to work, you can reuse it. You can
Yeah.
deploy that exact same structural integrity across different departments, different marketing campaigns, or even entirely different global regions.
Oh, wow. Knowing that the AI will follow the blueprint perfectly every single time.
Yes.
Okay, so what does this all mean for the everyday reality of a business? Because the 95-page website test is a brilliant showcase of capability, obviously.
Sure.
But how is this methodology actually applied to external business operations? Because organizations everywhere are complaining about the exact same systemic bottlenecks, right?
Every day.
Their digital transformation initiatives are moving at a glacial pace, and their most talented teams are drowning in repetitive administrative tasks rather than doing deep strategic work.
Yeah, and the approach Cocobites Solutions takes to solve these organizational bottlenecks is actually refreshingly pragmatic.
Oh.
They listen first. They do not profile a business based on generic industry assumptions, and they definitely don't walk in with a prepackaged piece of software and demand the company change its entire culture to fit the tool.
Which happens all the time.
Constantly. Instead, they look deeply at the unique operational friction points of that specific business. They map out the precise desired outcomes with the leadership team, and then they build the automated systems strictly to those validated requirements.
The sources gave some really highly practical examples of this custom approach, actually.
Yeah, they did.
Like, think about the onboarding process at a large corporation. You have disjointed training modules, compliance checks that require manual data entry across like 3 different systems, and just a literal mountain of paperwork.
It's an execution nightmare for HR.
Exactly. But by mapping the operational requirements of that specific company, they can use this multi-agent methodology to build highly streamlined digital induction platforms.
Right. They completely optimize the corporate structure
Yep.
to remove the friction of basically moving data from point A to point B.
Exactly.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, the goal isn't just to give a company a new shiny tool. It is about fundamentally transforming the actual environment where the daily work happens.
Right.
So Cocobites Solutions integrates this tailored AI automation directly into the everyday systems that companies are already using.
Oh, that's huge.
Yeah, we are talking about deeply embedding these orchestrations into standard platforms like Microsoft Teams or SharePoint environments.
That feels like a massive detail because
Yeah.
you don't have to force your entire staff to learn some complex new software suite.
No, which is usually where digital transformation goes to die, honestly.
Yeah. The environment you already log into every morning simply becomes a high-velocity collaboration hub.
Precisely.
Like, I can imagine a scenario where a project manager approves a brief in a Microsoft Teams channel, right?
Yeah.
And that simple approval acts as a trigger. Suddenly, specialized AI agents running quietly in the background take that brief, cross-reference it with the master templates, generate all the structural components in SharePoint, and then just drop the finished draft right back into the Teams channel for review.
That is exactly how you remove the friction of adoption. When the automation lives natively where the employees already collaborate, the shift from a slow-moving legacy process to a really dynamic workflow is virtually seamless.
Right.
The complex orchestration of background processes is handled securely, which allows the human talent to remain entirely focused on high-level strategy, client relationships, and, creative problem solving.
And what makes their operational model particularly compelling for the modern economy is their logistical flexibility.
Oh, definitely.
Like, they operate fully remotely. They aren't bound by geographic limitations or traditional office hours. And they accept a wide range of global currencies, whether that's USD, British pounds, euros, or ZIR,
Right.
which means they can deploy these automated architectures across borders without regional friction or complex currency hurdles.
It's totally borderless.
Yeah. In fact, the sources explicitly note that if you are listening to this and realizing your organization desperately needs a strategic fractional product owner to step in and orchestrate this kind of transformation, you can reach out directly to them at info@cocobitesolutions.co.za.
And really, the broader implication here is the democratization of enterprise-level efficiency.
Explain that a bit more.
Well, historically, building bespoke, highly automated operational systems required massive internal engineering teams and budgets only accessible to, huge multinational corporations.
Right, millions of dollars.
Exactly. But agentic orchestration changes that math entirely. You just need to be willing to clearly map your business requirements and partner with an expert who knows how to translate those requirements into the correct multi-agent workflows.
Which I think brings us right back to the core realization of our entire discussion today. The overarching takeaway is quite simple. Do not fear the tool.
Stop viewing AI as a competitor.
Yes, stop viewing it as this thing looming over your shoulder waiting to steal your job and start treating it as the ultimate execution partner.
Exactly.
Because if you have the deep industry experience to know what good work looks like, and if you can map your business requirements clearly into a master template, those old legacy timelines of waiting weeks for a project to finish are entirely optional.
They really are. The paradigm has fundamentally shifted from manual execution to strategic orchestration.
Yeah.
And honestly, this raises an important question we all have to consider as we navigate this new landscape.
What's that?
Well, if agentic orchestration allows a seasoned expert to compress weeks of complex, highly structured output into a single afternoon, how will this fundamentally reshape what companies actually value?
Oh, wow.
Right. In a near future where execution takes minutes instead of months, will we finally stop measuring professional success by the sheer number of hours a person sits at a desk and start measuring it purely by the quality of the master templates and the original ideas we can create in our minds?
Man, that is an incredibly provocative thought to end on because ultimately the value is no longer in the physical exhaustion of playing every single instrument. The true value is in the vision of the conductor.
Perfectly said.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Take that question with you. Keep exploring how you can lay down your own tracks. And remember, the baton is in your hand. We will see you next time.